Peace and respect. Welcome to season 2, episode 6 of Get Buckets with Coach Gus Gauntlett and friends. Today, I'm joined by not only a coach, but a really skilled at the highest level player development trainer, Coach Chris CWill Williams. He is the current JV head coach at St. Raymond High School in the Bronx, also an assistant coach with the under-17 boys at Riverside. For anyone out there, if you don't know about Riverside and that program, just ask someone, Google it, because that's a major program right there. And also lead trainer at Chris Williams Player Development. Coach, how you feeling today? Welcome. Thank you for being here. How are you?
Hey, Gus, I'm feeling great, man. First off, thank you for having me. Really appreciate you reaching out. Anytime I get a chance to, sit down and talk some hoops, I'm all for it. So I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to it.
That's love. That's love. Thank you for sharing that. Before the show, we were talking, and you have throughout your basketball journey, you made a stop out here in the Bay Area, spending some time at Walnut Creek, doing some training with Anthony Randolph when he was out here with the Warriors. So it's good to have. I know you're on the East Coast now, but it's good to know that you got a little taste of the Bay Area too.
No, the Bay Area was huge in my growth and development as a coach, man. Like, it was amazing, like, getting a chance to, see the basketball culture in a town like the Bay, with the history, like the Gary Paytons, the Jason Kidds. You hear it, being an East Coast guy, but then when you get some time to live out there, and I was fortunate to watch some high school games out there, like it's some big time ball players come out there. Dame Lillard, the Bay is some hoopers out there, man.
100%.
Yep.
100%. I appreciate you shouting that out. I know from the reverse side of it, growing up here in the Bay Area, my whole life I'm hearing about New York street ball and all the ballers out there. So now I was living out there and playing out there for 12 years. That was my big aha, growth moment of seeing what it was like out there, and obviously the amazing list of talent that has come out of this city and continues to come out of the city to this day. I appreciate you also shouting the West Coast, because no doubt we got some hoopers too.
Big time, man. Hoopers.
Yeah.
Oakland Soldiers, the Bay Area is it's tough, man. It's tough.
Major. We like to, out here in the Bay, we like to shoot the three ball a little more than they do in New York, man. We like to let it fly.
They shoot that rock. Shoot the rock.
No doubt. Cool. Well, definitely, like I said, I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy to check out the play that you draw up, and then I got something for you, and then love to just chop it up at the end as well. So whenever you're ready, I would love to see, what play you got.
No, I actually like that. It's a play we run at St. Raymond's. It's called New York. The whole point with any type of offense, with me, my philosophy is I want to have a basic set that we'll play out of with 3-4 different options that usually ends with something similar to a stagger screen at the end or some type of ball screen. So what I drew up was New York, and I did it like a little street ball status.
Yes, sir. Yep, that's right there is perfect. Yep.
This is perfect. Okay,
yep.
Great. So what we'll do is here in New York, we'll start off with our one man with the ball up top.
Just that glare. There you go. Yeah, close like that is perfect.
I'm sorry about that.
That's all good.
Guys, so we'll start off, and the one, he's going to actually bend the ball slightly to the right. And as he's doing that, our target man, who's the 5, he's going to go set a down screen for the 2. We want to get a good down screen. All right, so I'll draw that up here as we'll try to get a nice down screen for the 2. Now, the objective is to get the ball isolated to the 5-man on the opposite side, but we want to keep some pressure on this. So as soon as this 2 comes off this down screen, the 1 is going to hit the 2 here.
Yep.
And this 5-man is going to post really hard right here, and we're going to see what we got. And for spacing purposes, we have our 4 here, who's going to set a flare. So our 4-man is going to come up and set a flare here for this 1. So this is our second option. So once we get that pass over to the 2, I hope you guys can follow, who went down on the down screen. 2 is going to square up, look at the rim. We're posting hard with our 5-man. Ball. As that's happening, we have the flare screen coming over. Now, depending on how this flare screen is played, defensively, we have a perfect opportunity for a slip right here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a perfect opportunity for a slip. So that's option two. That's option two there. Now, if it's not played properly, if there's no hedge off of that skips pass, we should have an option for that shot or to make a play. We ask our two men to drive 1-2 hard dribbles to shorten that pass on the skip, and also read to see if we're going to have that slip there in the middle. We got all the space open. And as that ball is in flight, here's our last action. Well, our second to last action, I'm sorry. Our three man is going to go set a cross screen for the 5 right in the middle. Nice screen right there. So if we can't get the ball in there, we're looking in 1,001, 1,002. All right, he's not open. It's not there. Okay, cool. Coming over, hard dribble. We got the 4 coming up to set the flare. If the slip isn't open, he's going to stay up top high post, because the last job after this 3 comes and sets the cross screen here is the 3 is going to come off of a 4-2 stagger. So I'll end that. Here we go. So our 4-2 stagger. I hope you guys can stay with me here.
No, we here. We got intelligent viewers following along.
I love it. I love it. It's coming over top. So after our 5, 3 goes and sets that screen in there for that 5. 5 is coming over, reading which way he's playing. If he's playing under it, we're going to shoot right over top. If he's playing over it, we're going to look at potentially getting a high-low quickly up there. If the guy fronts it heavy, oh, we can't get it in, up top, high-low. As that's happening, the 2 comes down to set flare 1, 4 slides over to set flare 2. The screener who got the 5 guy open.
Yep, just bring it. Yep, right there, perfect.
All right, yeah, so we can leave it there. So the screener, the 3, who went here to get the 5-man open. After the 5, set the down screen. 5, down screen, 2, pops up. We have our flare, the 4. Last option is to get this guy right here coming off that 4-2 flare, the top.
Yep.
So we go through down screen option 1, seeing what we have on that side of the floor. As that's happening, hard drive, left, flare screen, skip pass, what we have there, no slip action. 3-man is going to set the cross screen, solid screen. See how we play. 5 has another opportunity for isolation or high-low. Finish it off with a stagger for the screener who got the 5 open.
Love it. Love it. I mean, there's so much talk about in a play like that. A couple things. Like the first thing that goes to my mind, the first word that comes to my mind is progressions, right? Mm-hmm. So same way in a quarterback in the NFL, they're reading through progressions. Option 1, option 2, option 3. And it's the same thing here. First step, is there that dump down to the 5 in the post? Cool, go with it. If not, boom, flare screen, boom. Next spot, down screen with the 3, 5 coming across. Is he there? No, okay, 3 comes across. So just that progression. And then the second thing I think about is the skill development that's involved in that. Because as you described that whole play from the start, I saw, number 1, I saw a 5 learn how to set a down screen for a 2. So you got a 5 practicing that screen and 2 practicing coming off that screen. Then you got practice on 4 setting the flare screen, and practice for that 1 how to properly come off the flare screen to increase their potential of being wide open. Then you got the 2 dribbling hard, making sure that's really a believable hard dribble, not just like a fake. I'm just going to do 2 clone dribbles to pass it. Make sure that their defender knows that that's a threat still. If the defender falls asleep, take that drive and go to the rack, like make the right play. And then you got your 3, another wing player, practicing how to set a really, really hard down screen, cross screen for your 5 to come across. That's a skill. And then the skill for the 5 to read that screen and read the defender, as you said, high or low, which way to go. And then finally, your 3 coming off of a double screen. So just like so many individual skills, which I think is just a beautiful way to show that up.
Yeah, and you know what I love about it? And I was talking to a young coach the other day, and our 15U practice, a lot of times we have this big vision, like we have this big play. We know how it looks. Like we watch Coach K, we watch Brad Stevens. We're like, damn, I love that. But we forget about teaching the progression.
Mm.
So every day in practice, guess what we're working on? Down screens.
Yes.
Coming off of staggers, coming off of flares, setting screens and coming off a down screen. So you break it down so that way, you know, like I was telling the young man, I get it. But if you're going to add dribble handoffs into your offense, you better practice it with your bigs for at least 5 minutes, just of getting in the shot fake, dribble handoff, seal, protect the ball. Like, so when you do say, hey, we're going to do a dribble handoff, you have to work on the progression. And I like the fact that you noticed that. That's very important. That's very important.
Absolutely. I have two additional questions for you. So the first one is, in your experience of running that play, have you noticed like one specific option being more of like the scoring option than others, or like where have you found most success with that play?
That play is funny because it's really interesting because I find getting that initial post so much easier once the opposing team knows, hey, he's gonna come set the cross screen.
Yes.
You know, that's why it's important to, even the first time or first few times running that play, hey, listen, go set the down screen, get your guy open and post up hard. You know what I'm saying? And you do that, and guess what? Now the defense has to stay honest. So
Yes.
I noticed that, you know, like sometimes I'll put our best post scorer in that spot. We'll run New York, and I'm not even looking for the cross screen, you know, because I know the defense is like, oh, cross coming. No, we're going to get that in there now. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, the second thing that's always open is the slip. If
Sure.
you set that good flare screen right there with that 4-1, and if you have a playmaking 4-man or a guy that can, you know, dribble the ball, that's a dangerous spot for him to be in on the floor, because if he does his job setting a good flare, the 1-man is going to be open. And if the 1-man is not open because his man is hedging, you got to slip that every time. You have to.
Yep. Yep. And I love just on the initial 5 post up by having the 4 on that opposite elbow, you know, it's there's no way that they confront that post, because then the whole backside is completely open. And if they do just play straight up defense behind them, they're on an island. You know, maybe that Forest defender tries to help down, but then you're leaving a 4 wide open at the free throw line for a 15-footer to dive. So that's tough. That's a tough D matchup.
Yeah. No.
My second question was on that flare screen, where the 4 sits down, the 1's coming off the flare screen. Is there any issue with the spacing? I know the 3 was still there on the wing. So is the 3 sliding down at all to create some space for the 1 to catch that flare screen? Or in your experience, when the 1 comes off that flare screen, do they still have enough space without being crowded by the 3 on the wing right there?
You know what we stress on? The flight of the ball.
Nice. I love that.
No, we stress that, like, because you still have to be a playmaker, because like you said, if you take those 2 hard dribbles, or if the defense even knows it's a screen, like I like to just mix it up. So one time, you're a smart coach, so I know if I'm coaching against you, you're going to look at different ways to play that hedge on the flare. So one option I would look at is, hey, listen, and one thing I like to do, yo, next time set that ball screen, don't set the flare. You know, don't set the flare. 1, you replace them, you know, hit, and now you just cause a little more confusion where it's like, oh, hold on a second. Wow, what happened? I thought they were going, no, you're looking for the flare screen, but now instead of a flare, it's a ball screen.
Yes.
And
Love
you
it.
still don't have to abort the mission, you know, because if you set the ball screen, 3-man just go. I don't even need to use the ball screen. I'm just using it as like a decoy. 3-man go, because I'm getting over there anyway. So
Love
now
it.
the flare, because, you know, one thing that happens is we work on the flare pass. That's a dangerous pass.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
if you're telegraphing it, that's a steal waiting to happen. So even if we just, and I notice a lot of coaches, they'll use the dribble handoff or the ball screen just to switch actions or switch sides. Like, hey, listen, no flare screen, just switch it. Let me hurry up and get over there because I'm a better passer. I can get that ball in there. Defense is reading it.
Yep. Cool. Great note. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. So we're going to switch it up here. All right. Cool. So thank you for sharing. So in season 2, I've been trying to, when I share my play, I've been trying to like flip it up. In season 1, we're really focused on mostly man-to-man defense in terms of like what we were facing and trying to get action if there was 10 seconds left in the game and we're trying to get that like one bucket. What plays would we use? That was season 1. Season 2, I'm trying to really look at different defenses, zones, boxes and ones, things like that. So for today, I want to share actually the first ever zone set that I learned. And I was in, like, this is probably 7th grade. My first ever coaches that I really like took to and like really felt like I was learning the game of basketball. Frank and Nate Aquino, father-son combo is just a great family affair. So I'm going to show a zone look called baseline. Never forget it. And we're going to take a look. All right. So, you know, I know you don't see much 2-3 anymore, but this could be fine against a 3-2 as well. The look is the same, but on offense, you got classic 1, 2, and 3 on top, starting off 4 and 5 down low. So pretty much your most classic, you know, setup for a zone offense. Let's say we're playing against a 3-2, so we'll go 3 up top, and then 2 here in the post. So we got 3-2. So basic premise of baseline is what it sounds. It's about getting action on that baseline, moving the ball from side to side. And then I think at the junior high level, we neglected the big man action, which I'll explain here in a second. Just that I think we were so focused on keeping the ball on the perimeter. But I think as players get more advanced and more aware of how to really break down a zone, you know, you learn that the way to break down a zone is get that ball in the middle.
Yes, it has to get there.
Got to. So, you know, unless you're the Warriors, in which case you let it fly from 30, you'll be all right. All right. So we got the one with the ball at top of the key. What they're going to do is they're going to push the 2 down with the dribble. So they're going to dribble out here to the side. 2 is going to push down to the corner. Now, the rule of thumb is for the big men, if the ball is on the opposite side of you, you're flashing to that high post elbow. So we got the 1 coming down with the ball over here now. 2 is here in the corner. So that cues the 5 now to dive up and find space here on the elbow. And the 4 also still working here, trying to not only post up, but really seal that low man on the 3-2. Mm-hmm. So the 1 has the option here. You can either pass to the 2. Maybe that 2 gets open for that early shot if the 4 is pinned here. And if this defender is slow to get down to that, slow to help on that corner. If the pass goes, 2 takes a look. If the shot isn't there, 2's going, 2 has the ball now. 2's going to pass it back to the 1. 2's passing it back up to the 1. And then on that pass, the 2 is going to run that baseline. 5 is now going to dive from that high post back down to the baseline. And the 2 is looking to come off that baseline with the 4, creating space, and hopefully the 5 beating their man down to this corner to set a little pin screen here on that backside. And the 2 comes out here. 3 is going to come up to make that easier pass. 1's going to pass to 3 up top, and then 3 ideally is looking for that 2-man coming here in the corner. And, of course, they're playing basketball, so if the corner isn't there, maybe they even try to dive into that short corner, any space they can find in that zone. And then the reason I think this is one of the first plays I ever learned in terms of, like, being a young player is that it's a play that it's relatively basic and it can be run continuously. You know, in junior high, at least when I was playing middle school, there wasn't a shot clock. So, you know, you're just running this until you get that good shot. And then when the ball comes here on this side to the 3, or maybe even pass down to 2 on the corner, now the 4 is going up to that high post here and looking for action. And then if pass does ever come to the 4, so the 2 passes to the 4 here, the 4 is going to face up. Let me get rid of all this action. 4 is going to face up. And then 1's got to be a good basketball player and think about how do I find an open space on this side of the floor? Maybe I'm actually even just dive into the hoop and sneaking in the middle of the zone there, or maybe I'm just kind of creeping out here, trying to get forgotten about on the weak side, and the 4 is making that cross-court pass there to the corner to the 1. And like I said, if the progression of the play is that the 2 Once the 2 passes it or passes it back to 3, then they would just keep running that baseline back and forth, side to side. So that's the look. Shouts to Frank and Nate Aquino, my first ever coaches, and I just want to bring this back in as an homage, and also for coaches out there that may be at the more beginning level, working with younger players. This is a zone look called baseline.
It's great stuff, man. That's
Appreciate
great
it.
stuff. Let me ask you a quick question.
Yes, sir.
On that reversal out of baseline, do we continue to run the baseline? Does the 2 run back to the opposite side?
Exactly. Yep. So exactly. So if the 2 didn't pass to the 4 here, 4 is in the high post. 5 is now on this, or 5 is on this post rather. Yeah. 2 passes to the 3. 1 will come up. 3 swings it to the 1. 2 runs that baseline again, and now we're looking there. Yep.
Yep. 5 pops back up opposite. I like
exactly.
That.
Exactly.
I love the rules.
Like, yeah, exactly. I think that's probably another big reason of it. It was a way to teach players like, hey, this is the look. These are the rules. Now, and of course, as young players, we might have been a little like mechanical with it, where the 5 and the 4 are only going right to that elbow point. Whereas ideally, like as a more advanced player comes, they're like, well, if there's someone around that area, don't run there. Run to the gap that's here. Run to the gap that's here. Run to the gap in the middle of the key. Go where the space is, not just where we're telling you the rule tells you to go. And that's like the more developed step.
Oh, that's good stuff, man. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
Add that to the arsenal. Baseline.
All right, word up. Shout out to baseline, man. Cupertino Junior High, circa 1997, right there. CWill, taking you way back.
Yeah.
Word. Well, thank you for asking questions and just being part of that. I appreciate you. To wrap it up, I always like to ask all the coaches, just one unscripted question about their journey. And so for you, I'm interested because you have 2 sides of your professional basketball life, right? You have this player training, which it often is like in a one-on-one setting, or even if it's a small group setting, you're really focusing on those individual skills. And now you have this, at St. Raymond and with Riverside as well. So I guess like, how do you balance that, or how do you change your methodology or ideology from working one-on-one with players to now an entire team and trying to get everyone together to develop their skills as a unit? How do you work that out?
You know what? That's a great question. And my thing is, I look at, if you're going to be a basketball coach, and I try to tell this to as many people who are young guys that are trying to get into business, you have to cover multiple areas. You have to be able to obviously recruit, identify, scout talent, like visually see it. You have to be able to articulate it, like we're doing now, like drawing it up, plays, like why, the reads. And more importantly, you have to know how to develop team, individual talent. And I always challenge myself to make sure I checked all the boxes. I never wanted to just be a guy that can just work guys out, but then I can't draw up a play or run a zone offense or build a team. I never wanted to be a guy that can just coach on the sidelines, but I couldn't warm my guys up or train them or develop them. And I never wanted to be just that guy that can just recruit and bring guys to the gym, but I can't get them better. So I always put a pressure on myself to make sure I can check off each box, because as you would say, and some people may look at it like, hey, you have 2 different sides. I'm like, I always tell people, no, I'm a basketball coach. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as a basketball coach, I should be able to break down film, scout, recruit, get in the gym, get my guys better, draw plays. And I think that's an area that's missing in our basketball community and business, is where, like, I never understood, like, how could you just be a trainer but not a coach? Like, how could you coach and not develop? Like, say, hey, I'm going to teach you how to get better, like from the basics, simple ball handlings, to mic and drills, to 3-man weaves, like just how. So sorry for being a little long-winded, but
No.
I just always put a pressure on myself to make sure that I can cover every ground. And I'll take it back to being in the Bay. two things that I walked away with from the Bay is I was able to go to every single practice with Don Nelson, right? And on that staff, you had Don Nelson, Hall of Fame coach, right? So I'm watching every day his offensive philosophy. And I'm like, that's not traditional.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like two big guys that's long and lanky playing like, like a 6'11" guy initiating the offense, like playing fast. But then at the same time, I was able to stay after practice and watch Rico Hines work with Monte Ellis, Steven Jackson. You understand? Like Steven Silas was on that coaching staff.
Wow.
Watching him do his analytics, you know, and a big part of it is I walked away saying, damn, you got to know all this stuff. Like you have to care about all this stuff. And I think it's very important for the young people to cover all grounds, because my philosophy and my trainings, like I'm getting ready to go to training tonight. I'm trying to train you how to be prepared for your team. So when I have an 8-year-old in there, I'm not just working on between the legs, behind the backs, jump stops. Like, no, like you're not paying attention. That's going to hurt you in practice. You know what I'm saying? Like I do a lot of verbal directions as you would in the game, as opposed to like physical demonstrations, because there is no physical demonstrations in the game.
Right.
You have to use your verbiage. Like, this is what we're doing. Like, hedge. Your coach isn't going to go out there, animate it, hedge. Like, no, you have to learn these things and teach it like it's a classroom.
Yes.
And that's what I try to do, man. Like, that's what I try to do, Gus. I just try to teach it in a team setting. Now, when it's time for individual stuff, that's a little different. But I feel like individual stuff is you get into the gym during the season a few hours early, getting up shots. You know what I mean? During the off season, you saying, hey, listen, I want to work on my strength, my right hand, my jump shot, my decision making. But I think just making sure you're teaching the game is the important part, because I love your show off the fact that it's different and you're talking about offense. But like you said, how many kids are going to trainers that are teaching them how to set a back screen to run New York?
Sure.
You know, like how many trainers are teaching a kid how to come off a flare screen in New York, or how to slip? So it's like, I think sometimes we skip the points. Like, okay, your show is a perfect example. You want to see a play. We didn't do any dribble between the legs. I need the guy to get to this spot, go behind the back, go in and out, hard move. We didn't do any of that. And baseline is very simple. Push the guy down with a dribble, make good sharp passes against the 2-3 zone. You know, if you're coming high, low, call for the ball. Like, that's the stuff that we need to continue to teach. And that's why we have to, like I said, coach the kids.
Yes. Man, like what I'm feeling and hearing you say is just that supreme commitment to your craft and being a well-rounded coach. And I appreciate you calling that out, as opposed to me saying it's two different things, a player development coach and a head coach of a team. Like, no, that's just a basketball coach can and maybe should be all of that. So I really love you, just that holistic point of view that you just beautifully described. I hope is really nourishing to all the viewers. It definitely has taught me a lot. So thank you so much for that.
No problem. I appreciate you.
Definitely appreciate you right back. Well, I know that, in New York, I know it's still kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with the seasons, but at least with the school at St. Raymond's. But I'm wishing you a lot of luck with Riverside. And of course, all of your training sessions as well, man. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams, Coach Williams. And good luck with everything. And I'm looking forward to staying in touch.
No, we're going to definitely stay in touch, man. I'll be out in the Bay soon, man. So we're definitely going to stay in touch. We should definitely talk soon. And I wish you the best of luck with this show, man. We need more of this. We definitely need more of this, man. Like, definitely. And I hope the people that, subscribe and follow you, I hope they really appreciate it, because this is a great opportunity for me to just keep myself sharp. And I'm going to go in and watch some more of your interviews and learn, man. That's a big thing. Learning never stops, man.
That's the ultimate. If we want young people to learn, we got to stay learning ourselves, man.
Sure.
Word up. Well, peace. Have a great rest of your day. Until next time, Coach. Keep well.
All right. Thanks, Gus.
Peace.